life is but a cabaret, old chum, right? I mean, life is inspiration, right? My superpowers, if you will, are around using songwriting to help one step into their power, elevate their truth, recognize their authenticity unapologetically, and specifically when it comes to teenagers, but with anybody who's experienced trauma, recognizing how many therapeutic benefits there are to songwriting when it comes to, you know, overcoming stress and overwhelm, much like we've had for the last 2 years. So,
welcome back, everyone. I'm super excited to introduce you to our next guest, Emma G, singer, songwriter, and youth empowerment coach. Emma G has been using the power of music to empower, uplift, and motivate audiences worldwide her entire life. She was born with a rare neurological condition called
Hydrocephalus.
Wow. Emma G has used music to recover from multiple traumas, including 10 brain surgeries, by writing and singing her truth, sharing her experiences, and turning her lessons into blessings. With a unique style that marries the styles of pop, soulful ballads, and a gritty rock edge, Emma G's style appeals to a hugely diverse audience worldwide. Welcome to the show today, Emma.
Thank you so much, Cornelia. What a gorgeous introduction. I appreciate that.
I just can't even believe you had how many brain surgeries?
I've had 10 brain surgeries and 24 surgeries in total, and that's all due to this condition I have called hydrocephalus, which thankfully I was diagnosed at a very young age, and thankfully I'm just young enough to have had the technology to be able to actually function the way that I function. For those who don't know, hydrocephalus is it literally translates to water on the brain. Everybody's brain floats in water. That water is called cerebral spinal fluid, or CSF for short. And our brains, the water changes by between 200 and 400 milliliters every day. But I have a cyst or a pillow of water about the size of my fist in the center of my cranium, which means that water can get into my head, but it has no way of getting out. So when I was 4 months old, my head was growing a little bit too big for my body, and a tube or a shunt was inserted into my head to drain down my spinal column to drain out the water for me. It's been a wild ride. Hormonal changes, unfortunately, can create blockages in the shunt, which mean that I have to have brain surgery or surgery in my peritoneal cavity where the shunt drains the water out. So that's part of the fun of having hydrocephalus.
Well, it's amazing looking at you, because I look at you, I would never ever in a million years feel that energy from you, that you had any kinds of challenges like this, because your energy seems so uplifting, so youthful, so radiant, so beautiful. That's how you are coming across.
Thank you. Well, that's part of that, turning lessons into blessings, right? So, you know, we can either choose to sit in the funk, or we can choose to write it into funk, if you will. So, you know, using, I don't know, I feel like there's always, we all have a decision, have a choice to lean into the negative or to recognize the positive in every situation. And listen, I'm still alive.
Yeah, you're still alive, and you're not going anywhere anytime real soon, because you are the blessing. You're singing about it, you're writing about it, you're empowering, you're talking about it, you're inspiring others to to embrace whatever challenges that they're faced with. So you're empowering the youth.
Yes.
So how do you do that?
That's a great question. So I come from a background as a youth empowerment coordinator for the YMCA. I've been teaching for over half my life, teaching vocals, but at the end of 2019, having lived in Washington, D.C. now for the last 5 years, I decided to step into a part of myself that I didn't know whether it existed yet. It turns out I don't think it does, but marrying my history as a musician and a singer-songwriter with my love of youth work. So what I do is I work one-on-one at the moment, although I'm about to roll out an online course. I work one-on-one with teenagers to help them identify specific struggles that they're having. It's really easy for everybody, specifically teenagers, to get overwhelmed by trauma, stress, overwhelm, school, parents, budding love lives. There's so much going on in their lives in addition to what's happening in the world, that part of the process is just to simplify. It's a methodology I call the KISS method, keep it simple, superstar, where I help young people to simplify whatever it is, and then write a song directed at that specific overwhelm or specific trigger point or specific stress. So it's able to, we build on themes, we build on ideas, we approach anxiety as a human being, we look at depression and write a love letter to it saying, I see you, I respect you, but we're done now. I help young people find the vocabulary to just voice their heartache and pain points. And here's the fun thing, because obviously 2022, Generation Z, communication's a hard thing for many of them. They're brought up in the technological world, the world of social media, through the lens of, they live their lives through the lens of Instagram and TikTok. Having a face-to-face conversation is really confronting. So to be able to then instead have that conversation using lyric writing, it's incredible how honest and authentic they show up, and how they suddenly start to find the right words to express themselves. And I stumbled across this back when I was teaching at a university back in New Zealand, where I'm from, where a lot of our students were second chance learners who had never written an essay in their lives. So being the music teachers that we were like, okay, can you rap your research papers? Can you rap about, how to write a song, or rap the theory behind, why this particular scale might be specific, whatever it is. And these previously unconfident students were finding they could rap about their research, rap about their thoughts, rap about their constructive criticisms of certain topics far more effectively than they could have if they had written a research paper. So to be able to take that that knowledge and write songs, it's amazing. And seeing how music and songwriting together impact the brain in many ways. And I did a TED talk on this a couple of weeks ago. Not only are we now able to find the vocabulary, but cognitively, it's a lot easier for young people to reframe traumatic experiences into experiences of resilience and power and authenticity.
Yeah, I love everything you're saying. Would you believe that I wrote a rap song?
Of course you did, because you're amazing.
I did. I wrote a song. I actually, while you're talking, I was thinking, I want to talk to you again, and I actually want to do another podcast with you where I want to bring my rap song to that podcast, and then we can talk about it, and you could tell me, like, because I've been, the idea was to have everyone rap that song and what that's going to do for the world. I thought, oh, that would be so great. But anyway, I want to talk to you again. We'll have Ashley reach out to you for another podcast episode.
I would love that.
That would be great. So, wow, this is fantastic work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Now, with the youth work that you were doing, is that where you learned that the youth really needs this? They need an outlet. They need an opportunity to work with people. Is that why you went that direction?
Yes, and I stumbled. So I was 5 years old when I decided I wanted to be a rock star, a mum, a counselor, a fashion designer, and a teacher. Now, I haven't done fashion design, and I don't have any children except for a cat, but watch this space, we'll see. Maybe one day. But it was, having that vision when I was 5, because I was ridiculously precocious, served me throughout my teenage years, and specifically because, I'm a millennial. I was born before the internet, and I got to see the impact that the internet had on the world. Specifically, I got to see how my peers in school were responding to the world around them. So when your best friend loses his virginity at 12 years old, starts smoking and taking drugs, when your ex-boyfriend commits suicide when he's 19 years old, when other friends are, cutting themselves and trying to find ways to express themselves, I vowed to myself when I was 19 that I would do anything I could to help empower other young people to know the tools, have the tools with them, so that they too could confront any obstacles or hardships in their lives healthily, without drugs, without hurting themselves, without making any, without leaning into that dark side of ourselves that doesn't empower us. So that, combined with my work at the YMCA and the trainings that I've had with my teaching qualifications and so forth, it was that's how I kind of stumbled across this. And it's the other part of it is just listening to the universe. I feel like every life experience that I've had thus far has led me to this point of launching youth empowerment through songwriting coaching.
I'm so inspired right now, it's ridiculous.
Why, thank you. Likewise.
Definitely, I'm so inspired right now. I'm totally activating you. I mean, it's like, oh yes, she is rocking it, and you are the leader of the new earth. You are the next generation, and so the work that you're doing is so important. It's so powerful. I love everything that you put. You just gave another TED talk. You just did another
Why, thank you.
Yeah, that's ridiculous too. I mean, it was awesome to have you on today. What are your social media handles, and where can people find you?
Super easy. If you just Google Emma G Music or emmagmusic.com, I'm your girl.
That's your girl. She's your girl. She's your rock star. She's your all the things she said. I have to go back and listen to the video where she said, I'm a mom, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm a songwriter, I'm this, all the things that you wanted to be. It's fabulous. You didn't come here to this world just to be one thing.
Amen.
You're a multidimensional creator. You came here to be the best that you can be. And I'm so glad that you're doing the work that you're doing out there for the young people. It's so needed. It's so good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. We're going to see you again. You and I are going to talk again, for sure, for sure. So
Perfect. Blessings.
Thanks, everybody, for listening today and for tuning in to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. We'll see you again here next week, and have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Happy spring equinox. Bye, everybody.